Right. Good evening, everyone. Benvinguts i benvingudes a la Smart City Week. We are just at the end of this third edition of the Smart City Week. We started last Monday. There's still a lot of activities and events going on all through the weekend, but we are kind of getting into an end. And we are also ending the series of 4 debates, 4 dialogues that we've been having all around the week. We said at the beginning of the Smart City Week that it was just a pity that the whole situation with the pandemic and the lockdown, we cannot see each other, we cannot talk face to face, but at the same time, the technologies give us privileges such as having people from all around the world in our little screen so we can share the knowledge even though they are miles away from Barcelona. We traveled at the beginning of the Smart City Week to Asia with the Minister Tang of Taiwan. We had people from America, people from Asia, and today we're traveling to Africa. It's with great pleasure and a privilege for me to introduce these 2 experts, not only on technology, but experts because they've got great experience in social entrepreneur. Both of them have launched different initiatives to tackle and to fight against digital divide and another divide that we don't talk a lot, or we don't talk as we should be talking about, the gender digital divide. It's so to talk about this divide and other different digital divides that we're going to have a dialogue introduced by Aranda and Thembiso Magajana. Most interesting, it's coming just after I give the floor to these 2 experts. So I better shut up myself and introduce you to Chris and Thembiso. Thanks a lot. Chris?
Thank you for having me in this amazing event and for giving me the chance to meet Thembiso and you, of course.
Thank you very much. It's such a pleasure to be on here. I've never visited Spain before, so this is my opportunity to visit Spain virtually. So thank you very much, Cristina. I look forward to having a dialogue with you.
So I'm Cristina Aranda. I am a co-founder of Mujeres Tech. We focus to develop, to change the ratio in digital sector in Spain. And we want to have more women and girls in tech, in technology. And we don't care that they only be engineers. We need also linguistic profiles, anthropological profile, business profiles, and there is a lot of opportunities here in digital sector for all of you. And I am business development at Tiger. This is a artificial intelligence and natural language processing company. Our headquarters is in Singapore, but we have office here in Madrid. And I am also leading the technology department of the think tank of the government of Aragon, and we try to solve or propose several strategies to develop or to get different strategies to get the challenge, to solve the challenge of this COVID.
Great. I don't know if I should introduce myself. My name is Thembiso Magajana, and I am the founder of Social Coding, which is a non-profit company here in South Africa that focuses on giving digital tools to rural communities to help them leverage it for technology. So we work a lot with young girls in high school, but particularly our focus is young women who run micro enterprises in these rural communities. We're all about giving them the tools that they need in order to leverage for additional income. So we're focused on teaching them how to use POS systems. We're focused on teaching them how to have their own websites for their businesses. But more importantly, we're focused about empowering them so that they can be women in their communities that are change agents. It's interesting. I used to be in investment banking, but I left 4.5 years ago to start my work in nonprofits, and it's been a great journey so far.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the digital inclusion is very important. Both of us, we are focused on on the very important. We live in a digital world.
Yeah.
But as you know, that is very important as both we work in give skills of the people, but because everybody talking about you have to be digital knowledge, but how, you know, and how you do that, how you get in your community?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a very interesting question. I think for us, it's all about, I'll give you a very good example. When I started social coding, it was all about teaching girls how to code, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was fascinated with the world of Silicon Valley, and my ambition was to bring Silicon Valley to Africa. Right. And it was fantastic. For the first 2 years, we had about 100 girls in our program, and we were teaching them how to code in HTML, in Python, in C++. But I really had this desire to go outside of my suburb, right? So I'm a very privileged young girl, Harvard educated. I speak several languages. I've seen the world, but a lot of young people in South Africa don't have the experience that I have, don't have the privilege that I have. And for the first 2 years of my business, I was focused on the people within my vicinity, right? But one day I happened to go to a neighboring village, which is about 200 kilometers from where I stay. And I saw how much the women there struggle, right? We had women that are running grocery shops, but the grocery shops aren't in their name. It belongs to the name of their husband, right? These are women that are working 12 hours every day, but they don't earn anything. They don't own it, it's not theirs, and they're lagging behind. And my passion became, how do I help these women, right?
Yes.
And when you look at empowering, especially when you're looking at gender parity, empowering for me starts with financial stability, right? It starts with giving women the money they need to be independent.
Yeah, so but you need to, you need to hack stereotypes as
100%.
Because the first step is education, because it's the stronger thing, as you know, probably in South Africa, but here in Spain is the same in everywhere in this small world. We have to work to hack the stereotypes.
100%. I mean, as women, we have to work twice as hard to get half of what men have. Right? Yes. And the same thing is in these villages that I work in, it's the same thing. So I had this idea about how do I equip them? Because teaching them how to code is not going to work, right? These are women who don't even have the basic internet infrastructure in their communities. Yes, so I said to myself, what do they have, right? They have WhatsApp. Okay, how do we leverage WhatsApp for their business? So we started looking at broadcast lists, right? We started teaching them to use broadcast lists to send messages to their customers in the community, to tell them that there's fresh bread. They can come to the shop for fresh bread. They can have fresh muffins, right? So we started this thing of using what we have, which was WhatsApp, and building on that. So we went from WhatsApp to now introducing point of sale systems, right? But what people don't understand, Cristina, about digital inclusion, that it's not limited just to technology. It's not limited just to...
it's social. Yes, begins in social,
100%. It starts with education. You have to educate people as to why is technology important. And we don't spend enough time as change agents working in rural communities, right? Educating the people on why. So these women would fight us. They wouldn't want to learn because for them it's a waste of time.
Yes. They consider this a lost time, and they don't focus in the real things and the real value things for their lives. You talk about connectivity. We are talking about the sustainable development goals. There's the focus on gender. These five. That's very, very important. And you mentioned that if we develop this gender gap, is going to impact in family, in economical development, in energy, clean energy, in different things. As for example, here there is a fundación Energía Sin Fronteras, Energy Without No Limits, or something like that is the translation. They give some credits for women community in South America, I think that's I forget where it is, but they give a credit, and they can start with a solar panel and start to give education, give lights, and their child can study by night, and they impact in the community. So it's very important, the technology in
100%.
this. What technologies do you think that are going to be key for this development of these communities?
Can I shock you, right? When people ask me this question, my answer always is mobile wallets, right? So you know how you can send money using the cell phone? For me, that is going to be disruptive when we speak in the rural context, right?
This is the M-Pesa. This is it, isn't it?
Yeah,
by Vodafone. Yeah.
In South Africa, we have what they call cash wallets, right, with the banks. And this is crucial because research has shown if you put money in a woman's hand, right, a woman is more likely to use that money to educate her family, to put food on the table, right, and to save. Now, what we don't understand about the digital divide is that the digital divide goes beyond just technology, right? It's access to home affairs. Women in rural communities don't have birth certificates. They don't have identification documents. And because of this, they can't open bank accounts, right?
Yeah.
So why am I saying mobile wallets are disruptive? Mobile wallets are disruptive because you don't need a bank account. All you need is a phone, right? And I've been watching the data that we've been collecting with the women that we work with has shown that if you send a woman in a rural community money, she's going to leave the money in that wallet for a longer period of time, right?
Okay.
Men, however, and I'm not saying anything bad about men.
I just only making a description. Okay.
100%. Men are more likely to withdraw that money immediately, right? So what we need to start doing, what we need to start challenging policymakers, governments, financial institutions, is to say, how do we now cater to the women that are left behind? The women that don't have identification documents.
Yes, but
how do we cater to them?
You can solve this issue with blockchain, because there is blockchain is a technology behind of the bitcoins, but the bitcoins is a part. But we can use there's a awards of Red Cross awards, and there is a technology that there's a company, a startup that works with the identity with blockchain for the refugees. And there's very key issues, as for example, what's happening here in the COVID. Here in Spain, there is a lot of people that don't have papers, IT, and they can't, the government can't track these people. And so it's very important. The technology can help us to solve a problem, as for example, blockchain or artificial intelligence for giving you the stocks, or giving you the options how to manage the resources, as for example, food or whatever in different areas.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Cristina, but I think before we start looking at digital inclusion from a holistic perspective, we need to break it down and understand what are the challenges we're facing when we talk about inclusion in rural communities, right?
True.
We spoke earlier about the internet infrastructure, right? There's no connectivity. And what people don't realize is that when you exclude a certain subsection of humanity, right, we cannot move forward as a world if half of us are left behind.
True. And connectivity and access, because you can have connectivity with this, with a mobile phone, but you can't in your family can have devices, as for example laptops, etc. So that's very important, and this is very important to a digital inclusion, and also to give the same opportunities to everybody.
I mean, if there's one thing Europe has done very well, it's the Wi-Fi free hotspots.
No. If you today I was talking with another experts in the committee, because we are worried of that. We were, of course, Spain is different, Africa, of course. But
yes.
here there is a small village that they can have connectivity. We're talking about 5G, and there's no 1G in some places. So
and yeah,
so
that
it's
is
a challenge. It's a challenge, a real challenge in everywhere. Yeah.
yeah, a huge challenge. However, what we've seen with the European and the North American trends is that, you know, there's free Wi-Fi in libraries, right?
Yes.
We don't have free Wi-Fi in libraries.
Yeah.
So we're basically fighting for the minimum, right? And this is the challenge that we have. We need to start having dialogues like this that brings attention to the critical challenges that we're facing with digital inclusion. And it starts with the basic minimum, right? It starts with understanding the problems. No one is going into these communities and speaking to the people on the ground, right?
True.
The biggest problem that we have is a top-down approach.
Yes.
So government that is not on the ground, not working with nonprofits, grassroots organizations, are coming up with solutions, right, that do not fit or tailor make the problem. True. Why? Because they're not speaking to the people.
True.
Can I tell you?
Yes, they don't walk with their shoes. Yes, true.
Can I tell you my big issue with Women's Day? You know, International Women's Day.
Pictures and
flowers. We don't want that. We want equal pay, right?
Yes, equal pay and the same visibility and the same role models.
100%.
Here in this week in our chat group of Mujeres Tech was so fun, but fun and pity at the same time, because there's 3 important events with a lot of people, all male panel.
Yeah.
And this is the people who see women in tech doesn't exist. They don't exist. They don't work.
100%. So, the same analogy can be used for technology inclusion, right?
Yes.
If we're talking about inclusion, nobody is bringing to the conversation people in rural communities. No one is identifying a champion, an ambassador to bring and talk to and find out, okay, what do the people need? I think the biggest worry that I have when it comes to speaking about the 4th industrial revolution, when it comes to speaking about technology, is that it's not an inclusive dialogue. Right?
Yes, the listening. Yes, the listening is the key.
It isn't. Yeah. We need to have a more inclusive dialogue that includes the people from those communities, right? I cannot speak on behalf of the people of Spain because I don't live in Spain. But this is what you find. You have people on panels speaking on behalf of people that don't have, and they don't even have that experience, right? So digital inclusion is about bringing people to the table, having conversations with them, understanding critically what are the challenges, and then tailor making. It is our duty as nonprofits, as foundations, as businesses, to hold government and corporates accountable when it comes to digital inclusion, right? There needs to be transparency.
Yes.
Where is money going? How is it being disposed of, right? But more importantly, how are we educating people on technology, on how to use technology safely? Are we educating people on privacy, right?
Yes, data privacy,
100%.
Yes.
And the people that are always historically excluded are the ones in these rural communities. So we cannot speak about digital inclusion without speaking about all these other factors that underline it. And I think, you know, as we come to the close of Smart Week, it's important for us to challenge people's thinking, right?
Yes.
How we as service providers thinking about creating products and services that digitally include those from historically excluded communities, right?
Yes, true.
How are we as champions, as advocates, having these conversations, putting spotlight on these conversations, but more importantly, how are we being held accountable to making sure that this happens?
I always say that if we're talking about a smart city, we start to first talking about smart citizens. And there's the key of the humanities studies. We need, as you say, ethical issues, but also listen to the people, because we are talking about technology is the way to get things, easy way to get things if you know how manage, how develop. We're talking about Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, mobile, of course, mobile in the case of South Africa. We're talking about business, because if we need to create a sustainability society, and everybody can get money, as you say, that the women has access to the money, has self-confident, and have they are own of their lives, you know, the owner of their lives. But the people is the key of the beginning and the end of every, and the stakeholders, governments, they have to design and apply policies.
Yeah.
And I am totally agree that they have to listen to the people.
Yeah.
But as you know, the picture has more value for them than to go to and put their shoes, because here in Europe it's like digitalization, artificial intelligence, and everybody wow. And here with the COVID, there's a very, very sad reality that a lot of people is going to get out of their jobs, because we live from tourists, we live from services, and now we have to change the productivity of our society. But they have to invest, they have to change, and the studies, the structural things. And as you know, it's it's super challenging, but it's going to require time, because this needs. But I am very, very, very optimistic. I am realistic too, and I think that we are in the right way, because we are doers. You know, there's three kinds of people: thinkers, doers, and people who say you have to all the time. You have to. We are doers, and Thembiso, I meet you today, but I feel that we are same goals and missions in our lives. You know, change the world simply. But I think that we are focused on the actions. We go to the communities and say, okay, blah, blah, blah. Words are beauty, but we need actions. Yeah. And if these women has to understand, and we have to focus, we start to start with the culture, with the mindset, to let them understand why they need to know or to get all the digital skills, because they can open e-commerce, or they can get a new job in a digital sector.
Yes. Oh, 100%. I think also a focus needs to be on partnerships, right? Are we partnering with the right people when it comes to inclusion and when it comes to technology? So government really needs to hold hands, not only with corporates, but with nonprofits as well, the people that are actually on the ground. So a focus on partnership, I feel in 2021, I'm like you, I'm an optimist as well, right? As well as a realist. However, I'm also someone that likes to make plans and share these plans with the people that can make it happen. Yes. Right. And in many cases, it's governments. And what we've seen is that there isn't a priority on digital inclusion in rural communities because it's hard, right? Yes. People don't like doing the hard things.
Yeah, of course.
And that's why our organizations exist, because we must do the hard things. We must go to the hard to go places, right? We must reach the hard to reach people, because these are the same people that are going to provide solutions to critical world needs. We spoke earlier about M-Pesa, right? And if I can just quickly run through the history of M-Pesa. M-Pesa was started because a young gentleman in Kenya was tired of sending money to his grandmother, and she would have to leave her village and travel very far to town to get that money. So he didn't come from a privileged background, right? He came from an ordinary background. He saw a problem and he decided that he would provide the solution, right? And it's someone from a rural community that did that.
Yes.
So how many more solutions do you think we would have now if we were actively engaging rural communities, if we were actively educating people, giving the tools, putting the tools in their hands, right? And you spoke earlier about access. Giving people tools starts with access. We cannot give people cell phones if we cannot provide them with mobile data. Because in Africa, mobile data is very expensive, right? So already there's an exclusion between the haves and the haves nots. So it's these kind of partnerships. We need to partner with telecommunications companies, right? Negotiate lower rates for people in rural communities so that we can continue to give them the access, provide them with the tools that they so desperately need, Cristina, in order to make their lives better. It's not about technology. It's not about fancy things. It's about dignity, right?
Yes.
People are living in very, very bad conditions, and technology could make their life better. I own an Alexa in my home, right? So every morning, Alexa wakes me up with an alarm. She reads my emails. She helps me with my grocery list. She's made my life easier. Women in rural communities, not the same privilege. There's no Alexa to wake them up. They have to wake up with the sun, right?
Yeah.
There's no one to tell them what to put on their grocery list. They have to remember. So for me, it's all about the dignity of efficiency. How can I help women in these communities, right? Using the technology that is aligned with their lifestyle to better their lives. It's not about building the next Facebook. It's not about building the next Google. It's about dignity.
Yes, the good word. You mentioned that at least the co-creation, the collaboration, the collective intelligence, that is very, very important. Here in Spain, there is a community, Coronavirus Makers, that they create in remote, they create a Telegram group. In a few days, they start to create 50 projects for health people, to help them with 3D painting projects and with breath machine projects. So it was amazing, and they still creating. And there's people that they don't know each other, and they work together in remote. So this is amazing, and there's the technology. But I totally agree that it's a social question. This is a human question. This is we talk about goals, blah blah blah, but no, this is, as you say, dignity. Yes, but I'm going to mention you. This is not technology. This is dignity, and I'm going to mention, and I want to finish with this, and was amazing.
Thank you.
So this, and I hope to go on this conversation, because for me it's very, very, has been very, very richness for me, and I have learned a lot. And also, as you say, we have to listen. We have to open the mind, what's happened outside in our world, because it's our reality. But in your reality is different. And we talk about technology, and you say, wow. We need a connection. We don't talk about 5G in Spain. We talk about to have some data, mobile data, for the minimum. So
definitely. Thank you so much, Cristina. What an important conversation that we've had. And I mean, if anyone walks away from this conversation, for me, what I want them to remember is exactly that. It's not about technology. It is about dignity.
Thank you very much. And thank you, the Council of Barcelona, to having us here in this amazing event, Smart City, that we hope that we create a smart citizen. Thank you.